In a world filled with things on the internet, two men, one podcast, two pores.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Two Port Podcast Studios in Indian Trail, North Carolina, where we have a special guest with us in this beautiful month of March. And I mean, for the record, I just want to go ahead and throw out there, I love the month of March.
Why do you love the month of March? I know why.
I know why.
Right, you know why.
I know why.
We know why. We're not going to say it. We want you to say it.
You tell us.
Because it's Female Empowerment Month. So you thought I was going to say what? March Madness? Come on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. March Madness. Yeah, March Madness. Go Heels. It is spring.
It is spring.
We welcome in spring. And thank God, because I'm done with winter.
I'm done with winter. I'm done with it. I'm done with it now, and especially at this point of the year where it was 79 degrees last week, and then it was frozen in my house this morning, right? I woke up, had to tippy toe around, was there like a little penguin, you know? Anyway.
It's beautiful, but it's 40 degrees outside.
Right.
But no, so it's Female Empowerment Month, and we're doing another episode with a very strong and powerful female. Very, very thankful for that. And I will let Jimmy, I'll pass the mic off to you so you can introduce this lovely lady.
Well, I have the pleasure of being with her, every day in a very, very loving way, and I love you so much.
Pleasure's all mine.
She is absolutely one of the most fierce, very, very, very strong-willed, very intelligent, very beautiful, right? But also very giving. She is a mother of 4, a mother of 5, counting me, and she does so incredibly well representing what a woman is and what a woman should look like. And I appreciate that about you very much. Thank you. We have almost 25 years on this plane together, and I love it.
A little less, but I'll take more.
A little less. You'll take more? Mm-hmm. Wow, I'll take that. Yes. Yeah. But look, I'm very, very glad that you decided to come and join us on this podcast because of what Women's Empowerment Month is, and following up, Hannah Shook, and somebody that she respects you dearly and you respect her dearly. Yeah. And I think it couldn't have been better, Jason, for us to have 2 women that we know personally, mm-hmm. and that we just don't know personally. And it's not just some, way for us to get them up on a platform and speak with them. They're women that really can teach other women and other men how and when life should be. I don't know, maybe look back and I don't know, celebrate it on for women, and thank you for doing what you've done.
Yeah, I'll take it. Thank you.
I don't know, I'm trying so hard not to babble. Right? I want to sound very smart, very astute.
You do sound smart and astute. No, that's the great thing about it. And honestly, we switch stuff up here every once in a while. Right. We haven't even given shout outs yet. No. You know what I mean? So the intro was very, very important. I think that the best thing about having guests on, whether it be an Ashley or whether it be a Hannah, is we can bring people onto the program who can teach, right. Who can educate. And when we first started talking about doing this podcast, one of the things was health.
Healing, yeah.
Health and healing, tragedy to triumph. Right. Telling good, positive stories. And I think that we're going to talk about a lot of that today. And there's a lot of things that Ashley can educate some people on. And it's not necessarily the easiest of topics.
No.
This is stuff that can bring a whole lot of things that affects health. Yeah. So it's going to be really important to touch on all 4 of those quadrants today.
And where this doesn't identify my wife and my friend, I want to make sure that's very important. It's not just my wife, she's my best friend. It doesn't identify her, but what we are going to discuss, some of the topic of today is autoimmune, mm-hmm. and some that she deals with, like lupus is a part of it. Yeah. It occurs when basically the immune system doesn't fight what's happening.
Hold on. I got to cut you off.
Why?
I got to cut you off. Let's get to the shout outs. Let's do the housekeeping stuff, and then we're going to jump into all those topics.
Fair enough.
All right, is that cool?
Hit the ground running.
Okay. I know. We dove right
I thought that's what this whole thing. I thought we had the conversation about this.
Did we have a conversation? This guy. Hershiser over here. So, all right. Want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Blue Diamond Pest Control.
Jeff Maddox.
Call Jeff and the guys and girls over at Blue Diamond for all your pest control needs, whether it be commercial or residential. Protect your home, protect your business. Call them at 704-701-0786 for your free quote and special discount.
And a great discount that Jeff Maddox keeps getting happy about and keeps up in the discount.
Yes, he is so excited to get phone calls from our listeners that he is giving out even better discounts this week. It's coming into spring. Right. Got to get that lawn ready, get the house ready, protect it. BlueDiamondPC.net or 704-701-0876. Wanted to give a shout out to, we hit 100 subscribers on YouTube, hit over 500 listens on Spotify. Hey man, got to start somewhere. Time is valuable.
Small victories.
Congratulations, you guys.
Thank you very much. Time is very, very valuable. We know that. We know the people listening. We know the people watching are spending their time doing it. Thank you for giving us that time.
And we appreciate you doing that greatly, and love anybody that is out there and they're reposting videos that we have going on. Big shout out to Lindsay Hunter for doing that. That was very, very cool.
Yes,
very awesome to do that.
And Lindsay's mom too, Gail, actually, had liked a couple of things.
Saw that comment watching on there. That's very, very cool. Thank you so much, ladies. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Gail. And so a couple more quick shout outs. One, UNC Tar Heels. We talked about March Madness. Christian and I got a chance last night to go watch the second round game. So just a real quick story. Christian and I watched the second round NCAA tournament game in Greenville, South Carolina in 2017, where the Heels went on to go win the national title.
Yes, sir.
The hoodie you're wearing today is a representative of our buddy Ghost, Ricky Hunter. And Rick and I went and watched second round NCAA tournament game in 2005.
What happened?
Oh, wow.
On the way to them going to a national championship and winning that. I think it's only, I'm going to go ahead and call it. No, I don't going to call it now. But I do want to say good luck to the Tar Heels.
Absolutely.
And it's funny that you or ironic actually, that you're wearing the hoodie, because I gave a little shout out video last night again to him wearing the hoodie to the game last night.
Should play it on this.
And Sean's actually got the video queued, so he's going to play that for you now. What's going on, guys? Jason Burwell here, Two Poor Podcast with Christian Burwell here, number one kicker in North Carolina, high school, class of 2025. Second round game, UNC. We're about to kick the crap out of Michigan State. We were at the second round game in 2017 in Greenville, watching Carolina beat Arkansas on the way to a national championship. Hoping to do it again. I want to give a special shout out to our man who's above us right now. In the clouds and looking out for us. It's a Ghost. Rest in peace, brother. You and me were here at the Spectrum Center 2005 to watch UNC beat Iowa State in a second round game on the way to a national championship. So let's go get it. Go Heels. It's a great day to be a Tar Heel.
Okay.
And one more shout out. I want to give a shout out to, as I'm wearing the Porter Ridge Pirates football hoodie today. Christian got some DMs from the coach. He's got a school recruiting him now, and that college coach that is recruiting him is actually coaching in an all-star game. And he sent Christian the invite. It's in December of this year.
Where is it?
In Hawaii.
It's where?
Okay.
It's in Hawaii.
It's in Hawaii.
Yes.
Okay.
He's got the.
You know what I love?
I don't know. We'll see.
Now listen, but I got to say this. Well, congratulations, Christian.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what I want to know, is it it's like, oh, Christian's going to Hawaii, or is Dad and Christian going to Hawaii? It looks like you're really amped up.
I don't know. It could have been one of those like, hey, Sarah, you want to go to Hawaii for a vacation over Christmas? Who doesn't want to be in Hawaii for Christmas?
Yeah.
This is true.
So I just thought it was really cool. Whether we go or not, we'll see.
Well, still, congratulations.
Let's give a shout out for that he's starting to get some looks from some colleges and stuff.
That's big accolades, man.
So that's all the shout outs I got. I mean, what about you guys?
You've pretty much taken up half the show with your shout outs. What do you got, babe? And you cut me off. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh! Don't be sour. No, I think those were great. I think that was great, and congratulations to Christian, and a big shout out to Ghost. And
yeah,
I'm here for it.
I love it.
right. So a little bit about this whiskey and then what we're getting into today, because this was a mutual decision between all three of us.
Right.
Very, very cool that Ashley's a bourbon drinker.
Yes.
So we are trying out Heaven's Door bourbon today.
Right.
So
tell me about it. Give me some info.
very, very interesting story on this one right here. When I see Heaven's Door, the first thing I think about is Guns N' Roses.
Right.
Naturally.
And come to find out that Bob Dylan wrote the original Knocking on Heaven's Door. Crazy.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, crazy. And not only that, but this bourbon is a partnership with Bob Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
That's fire. And my son Josh would absolutely love that. I'll probably have to buy him a bottle of this because he's turned into a Bob Dylan fan.
I'm very interested in trying this one. I love the notes reading about it. I love the color. Bottle's pretty cool.
Bottle's interesting for sure.
And to know that the pictures on the labels are actually Bob Dylan ironworks and metalworks that he does in his spare time when he's not selling tens of millions of records or writing over 500 songs.
When he's not writing songs, he's not whittling wood, folks. He is welding metal.
I mean, he's just out there doing it. Sean, are you a Bob Dylan fan?
Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah.
Were you over there zoning a little bit?
Songwriter extraordinaire.
All right, so it's got a good story to it. What
got a good story to it. But I like the fact that they're coming out with a new distillery in Pleasureville, Kentucky. Pleasureville, Kentucky, on a 160-acre piece of land.
That's very cool.
And the land was sold to him by Squire Boone, who is a descendant and relative of Daniel Boone.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool, right?
That's really cool, man.
Used to be owned, that's crazy. But Heaven's Door Spirits is out of Chicago, Illinois. Whatever.
Little north.
It'll do for now.
It'll do.
For all you Chicago people watching, screw you.
The Bears. But they're moving to Kentucky. So, okay, they're going to get a little bit more street cred.
They're going to the trail.
But this has won a ton of awards. Best American Blend, Spirit of the Year in contest, gold medal in the World Spirits Competition in New York and San Francisco.
Was it in unique New York?
It was. It was. It wasn't in Buffalo. But this one's a 92 proof, so it's a little bit closer to where you want to be. And Ashley, I think you are kind of in the same range, right?
Yeah, very much so. Very much
90.
so.
So cool. So I'm excited.
Let's have a sip of it.
What you think? You want to cheers and
cheers.
Get a little sip in?
Okay.
All right.
Breathe it in a bit. Very sweet.
Very sweet on the nose.
Oh my goodness, I like that.
Wow.
I like that a lot.
Okay. What a welcome change.
Wow.
To a couple that we've had.
Well, I didn't know if he was going to make it after the last one. He was like,
I know. It was
like
bad.
dragon.
Yeah, and he was like, his mouth looked like it was like caving in on him. He was like,
It was
the leather.
It was hilarious.
It was a leather-bound book.
There was like 2 or 3 times where like he's in the middle of talking, and I'm like,
yeah.
Like when I took a sip of it, it was
like,
wow.
That's gasoline.
Yeah.
No, that was good. I mean, that's where I want to be.
That's enjoyable.
I want to be there.
Caramel.
I want to live there.
If I'm drinking bourbons and whiskeys at noon on a Sunday, it better taste like that.
Yeah, that's right. Because that's what we do.
Absolutely.
A little spice on the finish, but I do love the sweet notes.
But you know what though, the finish, especially with this one compared to last week was just, it was too much. But this one, that sweetness obviously overtakes it at some point. But I'll be able to tell more maybe on the next sip of it. But that initial sip of it is, I mean, that's like you said, where you want to be, and it's almost. And I always compare to Eagle Rare only because that's my favorite one. That I've ever had.
That's where the bar is.
And even my wife, like Ashley and I, I'm like, hey, do you want to try this bourbon or whatever? And she was like, like she liked it, and usually she'll take a sip of it and be like she does like this funny face that we do at home. Yeah. But we liked it, so it's there for sure. I really dig that.
I'd like that a lot.
You like it?
Yeah, I do.
I think there's a lot to be said about where the proof is too.
Yeah. Oh,
you know what I mean? Because the further we go up, I think you lose a lot of that the sweet and smoothness because it's just so spicy.
It's so
hot.
spicy. Yeah.
But that's what I love about Booker's is even though it's killer double barrel proof, You know, and
she came out to the garage after we're having a nice night or whatever like that, and comes out to the garage with two very full glasses, and I'm like, okay, have a sip of it.
a Sean pour.
And I'm like, all right, babe, have a sip of it. She takes a sip. She's like, because it is. I mean,
it was intense.
If you're not ready for it, right? But
well, and I don't want anything that's going to hurt while it's going down. I need something that's nice and smooth, and this is. Yeah. This is where this one is.
Hot with flavor.
Hot with flavor, folks. Yeah. Can I tell you something?
I like it.
Whoever wants to sponsor our next first sip.
Yeah.
Saying, look, man, Heaven's Doors doing that right now. If you want to sponsor the next sip.
Yeah, just DM us, find us on Two Poor Podcast on Instagram and shoot us a DM. Let us know.
Listen, man. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, happy to be here.
I plan on being quiet for the rest of the road show here. I had some.
No, this is crazy because we've all known each other for a long time, and you two kids have been together for a very long time. So I know you guys know each other like the backs of your hand, but the audience doesn't know Ashley. Right. You know what I mean? As much. So I think sticking to what we normally do is to kind of tell a little bit of a complete story because there's a lot of things there. Right. Yeah. And I don't know a lot about kind of you growing up, so tell us a little bit about like you growing up. I mean, family, just the things that, teenagers, like, because you have teenage daughters now.
I do.
Right?
I do.
So, kind of tell us a little bit about that childhood story.
So I grew up in upstate New York.
Was that near Unique? Is that Unique is in upstate, right?
It's a different.
It's on the other side.
Oh,
it's on the other side.
It's in the farmlands.
Yeah, it's on the other side of the tracks.
Okay.
No, I grew up in upstate New York. I lived there until I was about 16. I have an older brother. Chris, big shout out to my big brother.
Shout out, Chris.
Is he down here? Did he move down
Tennessee.
Here as well? Okay, Tennessee.
Yeah, he does not sound like he ever lived in New York a day in his life.
He's got quite a twang.
That man got a twang.
He's adapted.
Yes, he's adapted.
Smart dude.
Yes.
So my parents divorced when I was about 3. My brother went and lived with my dad, went to Tennessee. I stayed with my mom. So we did, single mom and daughter life for quite some time.
That's interesting right there because, we are all products of divorce, right? We've all 3 wanted, of course, to not do that type of stuff, now mom-daughter relationship, was that bond? How was a little strained or was that was it pretty strong?
When I was younger, it was a great relationship. I also had a really great connection with my grandmother.
Okay.
My mom's mom. She was definitely my rock. I feel like when I was younger. Around the time I was like 9, my mom really got into a significant relationship with my now stepfather. They've been together for
shout out John. Johnny baby.
For as long as I can remember. And so I think that may have put a strain on our relationship at some point. It was her and I for so long, and then there wasn't. My father was absent in my life by choice. So I think it was a little more difficult for me, I think, growing up with a single mom. I definitely always felt like I was looking for something else, looking for approval, acceptance, kind of not having that father relationship. So I think that affected me more in my teenage years.
Gotcha.
Always looking for acceptance in people, anyone.
I think that humanistic answer right there is beautiful. Yeah. Because we are all, regardless, fighting stuff, dealing with things, how we grew up, how how we see life.
There's some things that broke us, right? And then obviously you put yourself back together. So I'm interested on your journey of.
Because because that's wild. All right. So the stuff that you kind of battled as a teenager and maybe some of those questions of acceptance and dynamics of dad, not dad, stepdad, how does that affect you now with teenage daughters? And teenage sons, where do you
I will say it's taken me a very long time to come to the realization that my father being absent, while it did define me when I was younger, and again, looking maybe for acceptance in places I shouldn't, it has also made me the woman I am today.
Okay.
I think because of that, I am far more independent. I'm stronger. I want to raise my daughters, especially, to be independent. So I think while it had a negative effect on me as a teenager and as a young adult, now older as a mother, it's shaped me into being who I am today.
I think that's a huge, yeah, exactly.
Bravo.
I think that's a huge lesson right there, is that you don't let your past define you.
Right.
Define you.
And it did for a long time.
Yeah. And you can gain strength. Like, it's funny. Like, I thank my dad every day by showing me what not to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's a mindset. We talk about changing your mindset.
Sometimes you got to let go, and when you let go of certain things that are pulling you backwards or not really giving you the space to grow, right? And then when you finally let it get past you, you're like, screw this, and then you create your own foundation, you create your own wherewithal, and I think that's dope.
I mean, with every situation and every topic that we talk about, if there's ever anything that hits, you could pass. But it's interesting to me because I know I've had to come to grips with a lot of that stuff based on dad, mom type stuff. Yeah. And I mean, I'm a stubborn dude. I'm stubborn. I'm stubborn to a fault. Sometimes.
You? No.
Whoa, wow, both of y'all.
No, kidding.
I want to do the little matumbo. But how important is forgiveness in all those situations, and is that something that you've had to wrestle with and move on from?
Yes. Because I think the relationship with my father, or the lack thereof, there's a lot of resentment. There's a lot of hurt. There's a lot of pain, especially seeing later in life, he went on to another marriage. I have 2 half sisters who I love to death. But to see him parent them and have, happy life, picket fence, the whole, to see him have that with another family, I'm like, oh, why couldn't I have that? Why it leaves as a child why wasn't I good enough?
Okay.
To have that.
Yeah.
And so it takes a toll on you as a kid, but you do over time. You have to learn. For me, it's beyond forgiveness. I had to let it go. I had to let it go because holding on to stuff like that will make you sick.
Agree.
It will make you sick.
And so when we talk about autoimmune diseases and battling autoimmune diseases, do you find yourself much more aware of situations like that, holding on to things where because somebody who's not battling those, might be able to hold on to a little bit more? Yeah. Does that help you? I mean, at least at the forefront of.
And I think stress is a silent killer. Number one.
Agreed. 100%.
I think that stress, especially when you already have, you're battling health issues or you have things going on, stress just intensifies everything. Yeah. Now I'm not going to say that I'm not stressed out or I don't have those, that's not an issue for me, but I will say it definitely makes things worse. It's health wise for me. So I try, although he tells me a lot, let that go for a day, or you don't have to do all the laundry. You don't have to worry, but then my OCD kicks in and it's all out the window. It's all out the window.
That's a horrible seesaw, I think.
It is.
That's a horrible seesaw. So when did you start noticing, or was there a definitive, okay, this is what you have? I mean, when did that come about?
Yeah. So around end of 2008, 2009, just felt like the exhaustion was never ending. Now, granted, by this point, we had 4 children. Yeah. The twins were a little under 2 at this point. So it's a chaotic life.
Let me tell you this. If you have 4 kids and you're not exhausted, you're not a human being. You're a robot. You're a robot.
It was a different type of exhaustion. Okay. It was just something. I was like, I knew something was going on. Something
like
was wrong.
recovery time wasn't there.
There was no getting out of it. It was like I was constantly in like this haze, walking through everything.
Okay.
So started, going to the doctor, trying to figure out what was going on, and over time, now it did take a little while, but over time, I started getting some answers and started, doing more blood work. And through going through all of that, we found out that started with Epstein-Barr, which had been dormant in my body.
Okay. No. So what is that? What is that right there?
Epstein-Barr. So basically, like I had mono when I was maybe 13 or 14. Okay. My best friend had mono. Then I had it. Then we gave it back to her. It was like a ping pong game.
The kissing disease.
Yeah. I wasn't kissing my friend, I promise.
Okay.
On the next Two Poor podcast, we're gonna
fly her down from New York.
Yeah, she's coming down.
So it's kind of that makeup that it's kind of once you have that, it's kind of like having chicken pox and it lies dormant in your body. Like there's
all right.
That's a good example.
So after that, after having mono, then it lies dormant in your body and it's called Epstein-Barr.
Okay.
And anything can trigger it. Just not anything. There's just certain things that trigger it. I think for me, it definitely was stress.
Okay.
Overworked, overwhelmed.
Okay.
Chaos.
Kids, maybe. Hormones change, right?
Of course.
I think it was the combination of everything.
Okay.
And then you're working more because you have. 4 kids and the bills and the
it ain't free.
It piles up.
Yeah, it ain't free.
Yeah. So I think that's what kind of threw my body into this like full on panic mode.
Okay.
And that's what brought it out. And then at that point, that's when things started changing.
So, did you play sports and stuff when you were a teenager?
I did. Yeah. I played a lot of sports, volleyball being.
And you never had any issues with energy or recovery time. So there was nothing there. No. Okay. Okay.
No.
Because it does make you wonder. There's people who battle it. We know people. Right. My first ever girlfriend, had it, I know, and stuff like that. So, and it comes up in different time periods because it can show between, if I'm not mistaken, between 15 to 40, 15 to 45, somewhere in that range. Mm-hmm. It can just come out at any time. So you noticed warning signs of fatigue and recovery time and things like that.
I did.
So what about, and I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. I do mean to cut him off when I do, but not you. But what about, how did the doctors figure it out? Like, is there a long process?
So it actually, the process, it's not that it's that long. It just, so you go in and you have to do blood work.
Okay.
Within that blood work, they're looking for certain things. Oh, forgot. They're looking for certain things.
Yeah, an Italian lady on a podcast. She's going to stop talking in a minute.
I'm surprised I haven't flown this thing out of it.
We're all very demonstrative here.
So they're called titer levels.
Okay.
And they're looking for, there's about 14 different markers that they're looking for. And I hit about 11 of them.
On the first blood panel?
How many do you have to hit for them to see that there's an issue?
Far less than 11. Like that's when they start to, but it's every one that you hit, it kind of gives them an idea of what direction it is that they're going in and what they're looking for.
Okay.
So the ones that I was hitting, it immediately turned to lupus.
Gotcha. And there's not just, lupus isn't just like a one thing, right? There's like 4 or 5 different variations of lupus.
Correct. And so my mother has discoid lupus, which is actually, it presents itself on the skin.
Okay.
Like rashes, butterfly rashes.
Yeah. And well, no,
not her. I'm sorry.
Right. So hers, I don't want to explain this and make it sound gross. Hers tend to look more like a patch on her skin.
Okay.
And she'll tend to get them just on like her hands, her wrists, her feet, her ankles. So yeah, there's different, like you said, 4 different ones. And I know autoimmune diseases are also hereditary. So my paternal grandmother had Hashimoto's.
Okay. God
and
bless
that's a thyroid condition.
Oh. I'm sorry.
She was a ninja.
I thought I had to bow right there.
Yeah.
Shout out grandma. Shout out grandma.
Yeah.
Shout out
We love you, grandma.
Yeah. So, okay. So being hereditary, stupid question. Is there fear? Is there fear of my kids?
Absolutely.
I mean, we fear about our kids all the darn time. It doesn't matter what it is. My son leaves to go to work, and I get a little nervous.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a fear, and honestly, the chances of any of my children, I mean, having it it's a pretty high possibility. But I feel like with medicine and the way things are, I feel like things, in my case now, this isn't for everyone. I know there are a lot of women and men that struggle every day just to get out of bed who have lupus. I mean, their situations are, different than mine. Although there was a time when things were a lot more difficult for me than they are now. But I think with time and over the years, I'm
being extremely blessed,
learning how to manage things and things that I can do in my own life that can help me without having to be on medication.
How long did it take for you to get from that place where fatigue was an issue, where maybe after working or doing something that might take you out for a day or two, having a convalescent, do what you got to do, to how long did it take for you to get out of there into a place where you feel?
Well, I feel like years. I feel like because then I also had a setback when I had to have a surgery on my throat. I had a multinodular cyst that also kind of, took a toll on me. Was, something that was very unexpected.
Very out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And another good little life lesson. Life is not necessarily all about what's going on when times are really, really good or you're hitting a string of roughness. It's what happens on a 4:30 on a Tuesday morning. You know what I mean? Just like random stuff.
Well, when this happened with
it
her,
was random when I discovered it.
Like we
I was at my sister-in-law's baby shower.
Jeez.
When she got back and like we were just getting ready to go to sleep, and she's like, "Honey, you've got to see this." And she's in the mirror looking, and I'm like, "Wow!" And I mean, it was like it came up rather quickly, right?
I mean, we probably need to give a shout out and say like, hey, make sure you're getting regular checkups. Make sure you're not guys, especially. We are stubborn. We can be stupid when it comes to doctors. Make sure you're getting your checkups and going through your checks and balances and keeping track of yourself.
Right.
Agreed.
So not only a lupus, but also dealing with fibromyalgia.
Yes.
That's not a good thing. That's like if you're going to major in something and you're minoring something. These don't go well together.
Yeah, these aren't the two that you want together.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, they do typically go hand in hand.
They do.
Yes.
Okay. That's not uncommon.
No, it is.
Okay.
It's not uncommon. It's unfortunate. Because they do tend to go hand in hand. It's usually finding out you have lupus first.
Okay.
Following, once you think you've got situations and things under control, it's like, oh, no, psych, you don't.
Let me just sprinkle this one in.
Yeah, we're going to give you a little of this now.
So, and both of these are very, very draining.
Yes.
And can be very, very draining on your body.
Yes. Not
just the recovery time, of something. It's like, okay, you go out and have a couple of drinks when you're 20, whatever. You go out and have a couple of drinks when you're 30, 40.
5 days later.
Yeah, it was the word. It's like E.T. I love when they say that, like somebody after they
sitting
took
in
drinks.
a closet, just
it's like E.T. in the oxygen hood after like 6 drinks,
Yeah.
I know that's not good. What about the people out there who might be discovering, okay, this is something that I have now. They're just now finding it out.
Right.
Where was your mindset when you heard it? Mm-hmm. After, I'm sure you probably went and did some research.
Oh, yeah.
And then just putting everything together and finding out, okay, now what's next? Can you walk us through that and tell maybe some other people out there battling it, what they're going to have to deal with?
Yeah. So a lot of it was upon finding out the diagnosis was finding out now what is the next best thing for me, because I feel like every treatment plan isn't the same.
Got to be tailored to the individual.
Correct. I was on a couple different medications. I was on Plaquenil and hydrochloroquine for quite some time. And those kind of kept things at bay so that I could go about my daily life. I could take care of my children. I could go to work, all the normal daily activities. And that worked for me for a while. And then we kind of had to switch things up a little bit. And that was around the time, with the fibromyalgia, which is, again, it's like joint muscle pain. So it was really finding what would work best for me and tailoring things around myself. Because, again, everyone is different. There are people that can't get out of bed some days. It can be debilitating. And it was also knowing that I could rely on my family and asking for that help, because like you, I'm very stubborn.
Yeah, really? You don't say.
I am very stubborn. I am very independent. I'm very strong-willed. I don't like asking anyone for help, but I had to.
Is that something that you still
But she will ask me for a coffee
by text. Yeah, give me my coffee.
Well, you're down there.
Yeah, is that something you feel like that you still kind of battle with? Like, I just know how stubborn I am, and asking for help can be difficult.
Yeah. I don't like asking for help. And again, I think it stems back to my childhood, where I had to learn independence at a very young age.
Self-reliance.
Yes. And so I think, that's one of those things that carried over into adulthood for me. I'm fiercely independent.
Yeah.
I don't like asking for help. But in this situation, when it came to my health, I had to. And it wasn't long after I was, diagnosed and going through everything. My mom and my stepdad still lived in New York at the time.
Okay.
And they decided at one point that they should move down here. And they did. And I think, and also they have 4 grandchildren here, and it was, but I think had I not been sick and not been going through health issues, and maybe they never would have come here. But the universe has a way of working things out sometimes. Yeah. So how was that a shot in the arm, so to speak, them moving down here, as far as adding to the support group? Was that a big thing for you? Yeah, I was happy they were here. I was happy for the support. I was excited that, excited for my children. They were going to get to have, more grandparents, more family. And while Jimmy already comes from a huge family, mine isn't. Yeah. Mine's very small.
And I understand that.
Yeah.
That wasn't the same way for me. So even coming over and hanging out with the Bass clan, so to speak, there was a lot of personalities there, and I love it. And some people are like, oh my God, my family. And I'm like, no, put me in there.
Like,
put me in there, coach, bring it on. Because I don't have much family. So,
we had a blast. It was pretty cool. We had a blast, Easter's coming up.
Yeah.
Saturday night, we're having a bit of a shindig.
Yeah.
Come on. But
I'm going to be out of town.
Good.
I was going to say, I think that was your invite.
Yeah, I know, but I'm actually driving up to VA.
What are you going up there for?
Just a little hanging out. Get to go spend some time with Sarah, and actually meeting her mom for the first time next weekend. So,
that'll be exciting.
Yeah. Wish me luck.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Good luck.
So, I don't know. When this episode actually debuts, I might have a story to tell because after that, because, we'll see. But hey, actually, Jimmy, question for you now, being a supportive husband, knowing that your wife battles these things, what are some of the things that you deal with on with this situation? Like, how do you tailor your approach? I mean, does it get frustrating? I mean, are you able to put the things aside? Run it down for us.
It's when your partner needs help, you help them, right? But then when you don't know your partner needs help because she's just a very strong woman who. What you end up doing is you do that little kind of hop in and out. Like, do you want me to do? You don't want me to do it. Do you want? And that's something that I've always loved about her is that she's never let this identify her and never let this is no stab at or jab at anybody else in the world that's happened to, but there are some people that get dependent on on taking certain medicines and certain things that numb them. I mean, yeah, man, it helps the pain, but also psychological things happen behind that. And, you know, from her, when she had her, what the hell's it called? That nodule taken out. I gave her whatever medicine. I don't know if it was Percocet, whatever kind of painkiller.
And it was awful.
She hated it. Like
Some people cannot deal with painkillers.
She almost didn't want to take it.
Well, I did. I took it. I took one dose of it, and I was like wanting to like rip my skin off my body.
Yes, that's a huge side effect.
Yeah,
so and then that's a great question. So are painkillers something that are wildly prescribed for lupus?
So it is. But not in a high dosage. I mean, we're talking about really low dose, really tame.
To manage it.
Yeah, just to manage. And more is like, it's almost just to calm your body. It's not, it's not for not the mental, but really just to like calm your body. I don't know that necessarily take pain away, but it's just like a calming, almost like anti-anxiety, because again, things like stress, they do have an effect on your body, especially a body that's not well.
Well, to go off of what you were saying before, I do wish in the past, there are times where I wish that she did have something to knock the pain off besides just like ibuprofen or something like that. And she would work 2 days, 3 days in a row, and then she would, have the side effects that lupus will give you with the swollen hands or swollen feet or whatever. But she was like, whatever. She just kept on going, kept on pushing, and I'm glad she didn't get dependent on those drugs, And
yeah, because you're talking about, I mean, in America, we're battling an opioid crisis.
Oh, we've been forever.
I mean, it seems like big pharma.
It's a business, man.
And I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of huge pharma. So, I mean, I will gladly, champion the stories of people who find ways to deal with these things and not have to resort to a pill. Now, sometimes, there's no choice. Yeah. Sometimes you need something to help. So I don't want to, destroy people who are, every once in a while they're going to take something to help.
Agreed.
But, so what are the ways do you find yourself, dealing with it? Are there avenues that you can channel your energy to that help you with that? Because I would imagine the mental strength is very, very important when you battle with these things.
Yes. And I do find, so this is going to sound odd, but I get like cleaning and doing things around my house like that, like it's like a stress reliever for me. I feel good when my home is clean. It makes me feel peaceful.
Yeah. House is like a museum.
No, it's not. No, it's not. We have teenagers, then
House is like
not.
I mean, I've been there a few times, and it's pretty clean for having 4 kids running around, and now 4 teenage.
But that kids, kind of is like that kind of does something for me. I do like going to work. I like my job. I'm around people all the time. I like most of those people.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Not a couch potato.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're working in an industry where you're just sitting there and answering phones all day.
Right.
You're in a high stress environment. You've been a mixologist in some very, very high a profile and workload establishments, in the country. So explain that right there of the stress. I can write your resume. I can write your resume. Let's talk.
Make us a cocktail.
Let's talk about it. That's high energy, can be high stress, high pace. Oh, yeah. So you get fuel from that.
Yeah, I do, and I like. Go. I like being busy. I like the environment that I work in. I've tried other avenues. I've gone to school for things that I was like, I'm going to get out of this business. I'm going to get out of this industry. I'm going to go to school, and I'm going to get up, take my kids to school, and then I'm going to go to school all day and pick them up and then go to work and then get up and do it again. And I'm going to do it for as long as I have to.
Yeah. This woman went to farm tech school, did this insane schedule.
It was an intense program.
Now, when are we talking here? Is this?
This is 2014.
All right. It's 2014. Yeah. So you were in your 20s then.
All right.
Yeah. Just turned 20.
She's in her 40s. Yeah. So
2014. Yeah.
So does all that.
Yeah.
Passes the test. Does all this stuff. She gets these job offers, right?
Okay.
And I wasn't pushing. I wasn't doing it. I was just. I mean, obviously, she's a grown woman. She's gonna do what she wants.
Being
to
the
do.
supportive.
Of course.
Husband you are.
And then she just was like, nah, I can't do it because, schedules. I mean, we could have made it work. Yeah. There's some way that all people make it work. People that have children at home, they can't just, their kids go to daycare or they're whatever. But the thing that was so amazing about it is that she did it very, very relentless with it, passed it, got opportunities right away, and respectfully declined and stayed in the industry that she's in because of there is a better there's a better monetary value where she works now and what she does now.
Longevity is not great.
She's been with these.
Well, not only that though, but you can kind of switch your schedule around if you need to. There's some freedom there.
Yeah,
right?
I could, especially when I was at the Visualite, and then I was there almost 20 years. I would have the opportunity to, we have a booked month. I can work every day if I want to, or I can pick what days I want to work. So that was nice. But I do like now where I am because.
Shout out to Moosehead.
Yeah, shout out to Moosehead. I get to work during the day. I get to get up with my girls in the morning, take them to school. Sometimes they'll get rides home, but I'm there at night. Like I still get to do it all.
Yeah.
And I love the people that I work with. I love my bosses. I love, all of my coworkers. So it's
rewarding. Right?
I enjoy it.
And there's some things about if you would have chosen to go down that different career path,
I would have hated it.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it could have meant more money, maybe
down the line,
but at the same time, it wouldn't have allowed you the freedom to be there for the kids, and that kind of stuff is so much more important.
The triumph in it is that she did it. And
I think that was at the end of the day
difficult.
Great point. Absolutely.
During externships, I was getting up at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And I had to get up about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Working in Monroe, one of them, right?
Yeah, Monroe. And then I had to be at a Piedmont Medical Center. That had to be there at like 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
That was.
So she had a lot of fun.
I did it because I was like, can I do it? Yeah, I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do it.
It's something to be said about accomplishing that goal. Yeah. Right? It's like, did it come? Did you expand on that? Nah. But you know what? Yeah. I accomplished that goal, though.
I did.
Nobody can take that away from
and I might not have thought that I could do it, but I did it.
We'll have a cheers to that.
Hey,
we'll have a cheers to that.
Okay.
It's about time for a second pour.
Well done, Ashley.
Thank you. I will say, I do want to say this, that when it was all said and done, I'd had, a conversation with Jimmy and with my parents, and I was like, I hope I didn't let you guys down. Because I think it was, especially my parents, my mom was like, oh, this is so exciting. This is so great. And I went to her and I was like, I don't think this is the avenue. Yeah. There was one job that was, it would have been financially, it would have been great. But I was making parental solutions to, it's basically people who have in-home healthcare. You make all of their solutions and everything that goes to their home, but you're doing that in a room by yourself.
Ooh.
And
there's people that like that.
Yeah, you're in sterile clothing, you're in this closed, sterile environment because again, these are things that are going to people that they have to have home nutrition or home, medications.
So almost like the clean room.
Yeah.
Everything is very, very important.
Yep. You don't even go out to hand it. You just drop it in a box and it goes away.
So no human interaction, right?
Yeah. I was like,
that's not her style.
Yeah.
I think if somebody said, okay, I'm going to give you $50,000 more a year, and I'm going to put you in a room where you can see outside, but you can't be a part of it, or you don't get to see outside at all. I'm saying, nah.
No, I'm out.
I can't. I'm out on that, dog. That's a hard no for me, dog.
I like dealing with people.
Yeah. I've been in this industry for so long. I like people.
Yeah.
Mostly. Usually.
Kind of going
sometimes.
I don't want to go to the grocery store, but I like people.
She did, man. COVID was like the only positive thing with COVID. She was like, well, shit, I don't have to go to the grocery store anymore. Yeah. And, with the Instacart and all that stuff that started happening.
You know what was funny during COVID is Christian and I, on the side, we would DoorDash. Just for fun.
Just for fun, because everybody wanted to order food from home. And so it gave us a chance to get out and have fun and goof off and
make extra money.
Yeah.
And he would be my eyes and ears. Yeah. And then I would pay him half of what I got paid.
To make sure it wasn't like a Walking Dead situation. There was like no one that was going to.
We both had guns.
Yeah.
Never mind. I taught him how to shoot at an early age.
If it doesn't work, you can still hit them with it.
Yeah. You throw the bullets at them.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
But no, so let's get back. Let's segue back. Let's reel it back in. At what point did you explain what mom's going through to the kids, and how does that come about? And I know that's kind of throwing it back in a different
yeah,
but,
honestly, I don't think that we really
bad.
What?
Sorry,
it's a stupid boy thing, and he's an
I was
idiot.
like, doot. Okay, got it.
I'm the idiot, but you're the one that said that was a moment. Goofball. I love you. Love you, James.
I wasn't sure. I just wanted to be in on the game. You want one too?
Oh, that's why I always go with scissors. Anyway.
Come on, guys.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Ashley's like, you guys suck.
Anyways,
right,
okay.
Let's move forward.
okay.
Let's move forward. Let's go.
So how do we tell the kids that mom is battling some stuff, that these things might pop up?
Honestly, at the time, we didn't. I felt like we kind of went on with like life as usual.
Okay.
And that was
the loudest human being.
I love doing it.
Sean, catch.
Sean's too busy texting.
He's got a big net over in the back.
We didn't, because I wanted to kind of get through this and see where I was before I involved the kids or had them being a part of it. Okay. I felt like that was kind of, I wanted to go on this journey, and he was on it with me, and let's see where I am. I didn't feel like it was necessary to involve them at the time, because
yeah,
I agree.
Well, okay, all right. So this was a mutual decision. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, but I followed her lead on that. This isn't me dealing with it. This is her dealing with it. And it would be different, I think, and I don't want to get this low with it, but it'd be different if it was like, hey, guys, we're sorry to tell you this, but you got 6 months. Or you got something like that. This was not something like that. Right. And this was a young woman trying to get her kind of wrap her hands around and figure out what the hell is going on. Yeah. So I think it was better for me to just be the one that's covering her. If anything she needs, I'll be right there. But let her freaking walk the line and do it.
And I think that's very, very important while we're telling these stories too, and telling Ashley's story, that, having a husband who's been there through it all, being there when the diagnosis is there is kind of how you take it, as well. I mean, I always feel like if I'm that secondary person, I am that secondary person, just like you're saying that you are. Right. I'm not the person going through it, but I might have to tailor my approach based on a support role, what you're saying that you're doing. Yeah. So, the kids love you guys to death, of course, being mom and dad. Did you feel like if, once you got your head wrapped around it, did you feel like maybe telling that the kids might look at you differently, or you didn't want that, being a strong person, or? No,
I didn't ever think they would look at me differently, because at the end of the day, kids are kids. Yeah. And mom's mom. Yeah. I don't think that they, especially not at the age that, they were.
And kids are super resilient too.
Yeah. And the girls, the girls were, they were pretty little. They were pretty little. Jacob, he was Jacobing. He's a little wild man. He would have had he wouldn't have understood. Yeah. Okay. And I think Josh would have understood, but then he would have kind of been in this isolated place on his own as the only sibling that understood, and it's like, just go be kids and do your thing, and mom and dad will be back here.
Was not real. The other kids are like,
mom and dad will be back here.
I think that's such a huge point, though. I think that's such a huge point of. I mean, I think that's a testament to the characters that both of you guys have as being good, strong moms and dads. Mm-hmm. Is even though mom's battling with this, dad's now in supportive role. That you're still taking yourselves out of the situation and saying, you know what, for our children, we're not going to bring this to their world. You know what I mean? We're going to let them continue on and we'll figure out how to battle this.
And they get
that's so important.
And they get educated as they get older and more mature. They understand certain things, and Ashley can have conversations with them. And
right
like
now as young adults.
So now it's easier, not easier, but it's easier for her to know that she can say, this is what this is, and they can understand it. Versus when they're a kid, they're like, what?
So, okay. Unneeded stress, right? So when did we introduce this to the children?
It wasn't...
I can honestly say there was not a moment where we sat them all down.
Set them all down, yeah.
It was
a PowerPoint.
Yeah. Look up here. See?
Yeah, so.
All these naps mommy's been taking.
This is why.
It's not because I don't like you.
No, it was kind of like situational.
Okay.
And then over time, it kind of came up more. Came to now. This is the situation. This is our life. This is how we live. And I will say, though, over the years, things have become easier. Things have become maybe less stressful in my life, which maybe in turn has made, my symptoms aren't as bad as they once were. They still happen. I still have my days.
All right. I'm glad that you said that. I want to ask a question, but we're going to get the second pour in. We're going to take a quick second, get the second pour in, because I got a follow-up question for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sean, can you help us out, my dude?
Yeah. You are preoccupied.
I mean, this guy over here is,
Sean's on another plane right now, folks.
Is it Tinder? I mean, what's going on here? Is it
Tinder? Is it Bumblebee?
Maybe. Right? Sean, am I not interesting?
Yeah. Oh, she not interested? Ooh, throw the bomb.
Boy, you better be careful how you answer.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
She's Italian, and it hurts, bud.
Strong, independent personality is about to bust some ass.
It hurts.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I like Sean.
No, Sean's a good one.
Sean's my guy. Here, let me throw it to you. Can you help out, Jason, for FNL's sake? I know that in basketball, you're only right-handed. You can't do anything with your left hand. What? Did you say?
I just noticed the coasters.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was actually a gift from my friend Jennifer.
Yeah.
This.
She got custom.
Jennifer Lamb.
Yeah, she got custom coasters.
We got all these things, guys.
Now, what is this?
Send your trinkets.
But you didn't.
This is why we're doing this.
No, but you didn't. You just handed it to me and you said, "Here, hold it." I was like, What is it though?
Yeah. That's the challenge coin from Tim Shea that he brought Jimmy and I each one from one of his certification and training courses.
So to properly give to somebody, you have to shake hands and give it to them that way. Okay. What is that?
Yeah, I mean, that's just a ceremonial way to do it. The
ceremonial way to do it. But, Tim is...
and you would never get that, you know what I mean, unless you went through that training course.
This is not something you can get in the middle of the mall.
You can't buy that at an Army surplus store.
Yeah. Thank you, Tim Shea, for doing that. It's really, really cool. It's really, really cool.
Army Navy store over here. Yeah. Tim.
Shout out to the surplus stores, making profits.
Yeah. We'll take some freeze-dried 20-year food.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. He's definitely going to make sure you don't have to drive home wasted.
Yeah.
Let's just wait for me.
I'll take the...
He's been hooking me up lately. Here,
get us a cup of the sacrament going.
Sean, why do you do this again?
Sean loves this.
The world wants to know.
Good one.
He's building his platform.
If
I'm on your side, Sean.
If you were to, is it okay that I talk right now? Because I don't want to talk at the wrong time. I don't want to mess up your trapper keeper. Is it okay if I ask some questions?
Sour grapes.
What?
Okay.
What? Where was that from? We're having a good time right now.
No, but
jeez.
I wonder. I think this is a good question, right? I don't think that I've ever heard you one time complain of. Thank you so much, Sean. Thank you, brother. Of you not being able to do something because of, right? And I've always loved that about you. But there's been times where we have been in a position that you were having a day,
Yeah.
right? So what would you say to folks that are battling it, right? That, they're really on the fence here. This is a kind of a long-winded question, but I want you to hear it.
Okay.
They're on the fence, man. What you've learned through your experience being that you've been through it for a bit, that if I'm on the fence where, man, I want to kind of lay down and relax, but I also have some energy, and then come to find out that when you got active and you got up and did some stuff, you were like, man, it made me actually feel better than when I go home and just lay around on the couch. Right? So is that
So it's a double-edged sword, because I'll say there's been times that I've done that and then I'm like, okay, no, this feels good. But then I've also overextended myself and paid for it.
Right.
Having that, like, no, I've got to get this done. And not like listening to my body. It took me a long time. Thank you, Sean. It took me a long time to listen to my body. And and there might have been a time I could,
So would you say it's
listen
fair
to your body?
Listen. So it'd be fair to tell folks, just understand where your thresholds are, understand where your levels are, and listen to your body.
Listen to your body.
That's a good point, right?
That's huge.
When you're tired, you feel that extreme fatigue, your hands swell up, your feet or anything. I'm just using, my situation as an example. Listen to your body and rest. It doesn't mean that you're lazy. It doesn't mean that you're not being productive.
Give it a slap.
The laundry can wait. Mother's side of things. The laundry can wait.
And also single dads.
Yes. Yes.
Let's not forget about Jason.
Well, and it's,
I just said single dads. I didn't say dads.
the kids can eat
You raised your hand when you said it, so that makes it.
I said, let's not forget.
We will never forget. Everyone, let's have a cheers to single dads.
Your brother.
Cheers to single dads.
Cheers to
How
single
about
dads.
people out there who are just parenting on a good level?
No.
We'll take
So what you just tried to do is overtake. No. Take that back. So you just tried to take her cheers. You did steal her thunder.
I've got plenty more thunder.
Yeah,
That's fine.
let's go.
We're good.
To more thunder.
Here's the female empowerment. Bring in the
Hell
thunder.
yeah.
Bring the thunder.
That's thunder.
I think it's important to bring the thunder. I also think it is increasingly important right now to just give you our thanks, show our thanks to you for being on the podcast and for allowing yourself to continue on and tell us a little bit more about your journey and about what you've been through and about what's to come. Because that's one thing that I think is super important for people that deal with anything. But in your particular case, what's to come? What do you see Ashley doing in 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 years? Like, where is your, 10 years down the road?
Because important addition to that, I put just a little addition, over 90% of people who battle lupus still live average lifespan, which is now 73, 74, 75 years, in the United States.
Yes.
So that's not even one of those things that even
I want to
affects
stop.
anymore.
I want to stop for a second, and I want to say thank you so much, Kim Mayfield. She was a customer of mine at Honda years ago. She knew something was going on with me. I helped her and her husband for a long time, and she got it out of me about what was bothering me. And she said, I just want to tell you something, honey. My aunt has lupus, and she is 75 years old. And she said, you stop all that worrying, honey, like that.
Yeah.
And thank you, Kim Mayfield. That was awesome, right?
Amen. Yeah.
So what's to come for Ashley Scatella Bass? Your last name is so fucking fire. I wanted to be the guy that says, hey man, my name now is Jimmy Basketella, because I got that kind of deal.
We talked about you taking my last name. But.
Yeah, but anyway, let's just say
I'm just going to leave that.
Hey, just for kicks and giggles here, all right, Ashley S. Bass, what up?
Yes. Honestly, I feel like where I am I'm content with where I am right now as far as my career goes. I am content with that. I like what I'm doing. I like where I am. I like the people that I work with. I like who I work for. I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Okay.
That I'm happy with.
I like that. There's some good.
And I kind of hope that one day my boss retires and lets me have his job. So there's
Chris
Chris Nielsen, if you're listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And give us some of that crypto knowledge you got, Bubba.
Yeah. I hear that.
No, but I'm very happy with where I am with that. Somewhere down the road in the future, I'll have to retire from, I don't think I can
at some point.
60, going around there doing that.
Yeah.
And at that point, I would love DIY is a passion of mine. I
okay.
love.
Dude.
Yeah. What? Hey, no, you talked about getting some energy from going to work. Mm-hmm. Did the DIY projects fuel that passion? And
God bless, she would be phenomenal at it. You should see my house,
because that's cool, man. That's cool to me. Somebody who can say, I'm going to take this old door, I'm going to take these old panels, I'm going to take this old, and then bam,
and then
turn it into art.
Yeah,
I enjoy DIY. I enjoy, that's pretty much on social media. It's either I'm watching a cooking channel of someone, or it's like a DIY. Those are two things I'm extremely passionate about.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe DIY is in my future. Maybe
the Two Poor Podcast would support it.
Two Poor Podcast cooking show.
Oh.
Or if depending on how successful she gets, maybe that'll be another sponsor that we could talk about over dinner.
Sponsor you guys.
Yeah, but you would have to pay us.
Soundbite. That was a soundbite.
Yeah, you just pull it from our accounts.
Yeah,
that's fine.
And then she'll text me and be like, "Why the hell
it's
did
a
you?"
shell game.
Yeah.
She'll text me and say, "Why did you pull that money?" Oh, no, I thought that was bullshit. I thought you were lying.
Yeah. So all right. So I think it's very, very important in this whole journey that we're talking about with the multiple different avenues of where you can fill up your cup, so to speak, and then the things that can drain you.
Right.
So a very, very important question that I've been wanting to ask. What do you think to you is more draining, as far as the mental aspect? Raising girls, raising guys, or Jimmy?
I feel like you set me up. I feel like you set me up.
Hey, it was a good segue, I thought.
So, I will say this. So we have raised each other and our family together.
That's a great point.
We started having children when we were young. We were children.
We were 12.
That's weird.
It's a Little House on the Prairie in 1794.
Yeah. Come on. But, we were 18 and 19 when we started our family.
Yeah.
Right.
So essentially, I feel like we raised each other and our kids together. With that being said,
there's a but.
No, she was almost done. And then
No, I will say all of my kids have been, for the most part, they've been really easy to raise, not a lot of stress. I will say, though, girls, for me, it's a little more stressful because the world is stressful, because the world is crazy, because I feel like, and I'm not to say that my boys don't face the same things that are going on in the world, but they don't.
They don't.
It's
different. Young women are more vulnerable.
And you had a strong relationship, right, with mom. So
I was a vulnerable young girl who was looking for acceptance. I was looking for it wherever I could. My situation was different than my daughter's growing up, but I still think that follows suit with young teenage girls. They're kind of always looking for a place to fit in. It's hard to fit in.
Yeah.
It's just hard to fit in.
Especially
and I think that girls are more susceptible to the good, bad, and the ugly in the world. I do. So it's a little more stressful.
So if we're incorporating that into the whole autoimmune, where it can drain you a little bit, I just want to make sure that we're putting a huge focus on the support network of the strong bonds at home.
Right.
Having the strong support network of family, of husband, wife, even in the children aspect of certain things can drain you, but the more support you have, the more fuel and energy you have to battle these things.
Oh, yeah.
And also giving yourself grace.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing seeing her and I have the beauty of raising these unbelievable kids, and they're knocking stuff over everywhere, or we gotta raise everything up off the ground so the kids don't get it. We gotta put a little thing around the hearth so they don't cut their head. To now they're like sitting around our island just towering over us, it feels like. And there's mom. So what I'm starting to see now, it's so beautiful, is like, you know, like Ashley in the kitchen with the girls. Or like in the kitchen the other night.
And now they're old enough to where they can cook dinner, maybe?
And they're doing it. They're
no, they can't. They get in there with me. They get in there.
And it just, it's really neat to see like now you keep looking at my hair. Am I having like a fire hair day?
Oh my gosh. So self-conscious that I'm always looking at
No, not self-conscious. No. Rewind that.
Why are you looking up there?
No, she keeps on looking up there and I'm wondering. I'm like, wow.
Is it calling out insecurity?
No, but it's cool seeing that. And we have the ability now to like, not ability, it sounds retarded. We literally look every single day at these kids getting older and older, and we're getting older and better ourselves.
Yeah.
But I get to now spend, this is the other thing that's wild to me, is that we don't have anything to do anymore on the weekends with kids.
We do podcasts.
We do podcasts. We're podcasting.
We're podcasting.
But we're finding this like area where I'm like, I'm so happy to see her light up going to different places and being like, we took a trip to Asheville. It was, you know, really fun. Or we went to St. Patty's Day. We went out to a cool little bar and people watched and hung out. And it's just nice seeing her let her hair down and not have to worry about any other thing rather than what's
that long list of possible things that we got to knock out.
It's nice to see her
a little bit of fresh air.
Yeah. I like seeing her relax. So
fresh air for life, so to speak.
Come on.
So, all right, Ashley, if you were going to tell all the viewers out there, who finding out they have autoimmune diseases, they're people who maybe their parents or anything to do with that, what would you tell them? The floor is yours. What would you tell them?
Oh, gosh. And I think, autoimmune disease, and I feel like anything across the board, you cannot take care of others. You cannot take care of your children, your loved ones. You won't be successful in what you do if you don't take care of yourself first.
Beautiful.
If you don't put yourself first, if you don't take the time out to the appointments that you may have to go to, the follow-ups, the rest when you need it, the taking a step back from, doing all the things that you just think have to get done. They don't. Your health should be priority number one. Making sure that you're seeing the right people, and don't ever take the first opinion from a doctor. Go back and get some more opinions because
So
doctors are like
a fire point,
apples.
What do they call it? What do they call a doctor who graduates with a C average? Doctor.
A doctor. Yeah. And no offense to doctors. I'm just saying that you should always go get a second opinion. Advocate for yourself.
Right.
Advocate for yourself. Make sure you're asking the right questions. Don't just take what someone says as a medical professional.
Like do your own research, right?
Yes, and do your own research.
Do you think you need to be careful on some of the research you do on Google? Because there's a lot of stuff there. There's a lot of
staying away from WebMD.
Well, I'm saying don't get on the internet and self-diagnose.
Right.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is though, if you go to the doctor, they tell you something, go home and take some time out and look at it yourself and say, okay, now this makes sense, because we all know doctors don't take enough time in their day to actually sit down and have an intimate conversation with patients. They just don't.
Too many patients.
Yeah, they just don't.
And when someone's dealing with
and that's why they're throwing scripts out left and right. Does it make you feel better?
Because they're dealing with patient management.
Well, and there's another thing, like to tell these folks that are just now getting those kind of diagnoses or whatever, like don't just go after the first thing they say. Don't just go for the script if they're throwing it out there. And maybe, I don't know, reach out and ask them your network of friends, because somebody that and you're connected with might have a sibling or a friend.
Always advocate for yourself. Always advocate for yourself.
Those are great points.
I love it.
I got to tell you something. Yeah. To try to facilitate a conversation and be an interviewer, but it's my wife, I'm trying so hard not to.
Did I make you nervous?
Yes. Hey.
Yeah, very.
Mommy.
Mumsy.
I think that, we're at that stage now. We're at that point now in life where hard truths are good truths, right? There's something that we need to hear. But to hear someone like Kim Mayfield tell me the information, for you to tell women and men out there the information that this is not a killer. This is not something.
No, that's the important. The positive aspect of this is, if we're paying attention, all of us, if we're paying attention to those 4 quadrants of health,
right,
and making the best version of ourselves, there's nothing out there like this right here that can actually stop us from still living a fulfilling life, a prosperous life, and a healthy life.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Concur wholeheartedly.
Agreed.
Right?
Absolutely agree.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm usually not the one to segue this, all right? But I am going to segue.
But I am.
Yeah, but I'm gonna.
But I'm gonna do it.
The one of the things on the strategy call that we had was about the 3 questions that I want to get to. Okay. And one of the things that I said first is like, oh, well, maybe you do the first one, I'll do the second one and the third, so people don't think that I'm, And what I really wanted to do is say, Jason Bridwell, I trust you enough. You're my brother. I love you. I want you to ask these questions to my wife, to our guest. Sorry. To our guest, Ashley Scotella Bass.
S. Bass.
Right? And I don't want to know the questions.
Just don't ask me about like age limits with marriage. That would kind of throw me off.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah. One of the smartest people I know on the planet.
I was like, how would I answer? I was like, that is bizarre.
12 years old. What if I would have said 12?
My goal was to get him speechless.
I was like, Ashley, how would you answer that?
But no, I want you to.
Being weird.
I want you to go into that.
I was looking more for funny.
I want you to go into that. Ladies, I want you to go into that, and I want to also, plug it in that in the future we have sponsors that are already they're pitching for this right now for the parting shot, but they're the 3 questions to sponsor it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And who we have working in the background right now handling this is pretty cool. We're taking our time because we're in the infancy stage of this.
Yeah.
But you could be, a sponsor.
A couple of people have reached out.
Yeah, you could be a sponsor of this.
We haven't found the right fit yet.
So you're gonna ask these 3 questions to my wife.
Yeah.
To Ashley. And
S. Bass.
I'm gonna shut up.
Really?
Let's cheers to that, folks. Yes. All right, let's go.
All right. Yeah. So unbeknownst to you, there was a lot of pressure on this one because there's a lot of things that my head starts working on, and like, okay, what am I going to ask? What am I going to ask?
You stayed up till 4 in the morning doing this.
3.
Okay.
1, 2, 4.
Then he fell asleep to thinking about Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
Then I started listening to Bob Dylan.
Bobby
and
baby.
I was on another plane, man. On another plane. Anyways, all right. So I know this episode has taken us on a journey, and we've talked about a lot. We've gone through a lot. Mm-hmm. I really, really appreciate you coming on here, telling your story, and letting the world know this does you battle these things, but this doesn't define who you are. Right. So that's the great part about it. But from battling, question number 1, from battling autoimmune diseases, the highs and lows of motherhood, working tough hours, life in general, how do you give yourself grace when it's not your day?
Oh, that's a tough question.
What, James?
I honestly don't very often. I always think I should be doing more, involved in more, participating in more, having more conversations with this child, doing more with this one. But I have to know at the end of the day, I am human. I'm one person. One person who's been doing a lot for a long time. And so there are some days I just have to be like, ooh, girl, slow down.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I just have to like turn off, because if I don't, I will just keep going until I run myself
And
into
it's
the
hard
ground.
to switch off, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's hard to switch off.
It's a lot, 4 children. I'll be 41 this year. Our oldest son's going to be 22. Jacob's going to be 20 this year. The girls just turned 17. It's been a lot of years. I went from being a child literally to raising children. That's just kind of the pattern of my life. And then all of the things in between.
Italian break.
Almost the whole entire episode.
Almost.
And then everything in between. And it some days are tougher than others, but
yeah, it's okay though.
Yeah.
I love it.
Right,
Though.
it's great.
I
Great
love it.
answer.
It's a very humanistic approach, and I'm glad you said that because that segues into my question number 2. The universe just makes this happen. Question number 2: your kids are almost at either in college, or coming into that college age.
Right.
What advice would you give soon-to-be empty nesters, and how does empty nesting feel to you?
What advice would I give, and what does it feel like to me? Enjoy it. Don't try to fight it. There was a point in time where it was almost like, now what do we do when the kids were gone? I know what I want to do. I want to spend time with my husband, going to do things that we couldn't always do because, this one had to be at work, or this one had to go here, this one had to go there. Now kind of, I feel like we'll get to enjoy each other's company.
Okay.
And don't shy away from it. I say go into it full force, enjoy every moment of it. And I will say this, I feel like with Joshua, when he first left, I was an emotional, basket case. Oh,
Yes,
God.
bad.
I was so obnoxious to be around.
Well, Josh is such a good soul too. He's an energy guy. He is. So that's got to be different.
It was, and that was my baby. He was my baby when I was a baby. I was, and it just.
He made her a mommy first.
Yeah, that was my first true love. That was my first true love, was Joshua. Yeah. He really was.
Such a good dude.
He is.
He is.
And so
dynamite dude, for sure.
That it was like, a mess. And not to say that it wasn't difficult when Jacob went away, because it was. Mm-hmm. But there was a difference in it, kind of like knowing he would be okay, because now he was going with his brother.
Yeah, which was cool. I mean, that is cool that they both actually get to go.
They were going
off on that journey together. That's awesome.
Because when Josh left, also unbeknownst to Ashley and I, when we're in the,
so was our nephew.
Well, Jacob comes downstairs. He's like, "It's not all about y'all. I'm sad too." Like, he was sad as hell, and we learned from that, But great question, great answer. I love it.
I will say, when the girls, I think it's going to be a little different, because again, going back to kind of, I feel like I've touched on it several times.
Pause.
The world for young girls is very different.
Yeah.
And so them leaving and getting out into the world, that's going to be.
Yeah, let's not talk.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
We know who's going to. Will you hold him when that happens?
Come on.
Ashley said to Julesy about when they were talking about college and and Ashley goes, "You should get as far away from here as possible."
Because I don't want her to limit herself. She is so smart.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want her to limit herself. I don't want her to feel like, because of our fears, that she needs to be close by and under our wing.
And that's a difficult thing to manage, right? Because we want to keep the kids close because we're protective. You and I are protective dudes. We want to protect our ladies.
And it's her and Isabella. Like that thing about both of them and where they're gonna go is like. Julia just straight up told me the other day. She was like, "It doesn't matter what Isabella says. She's just gonna go wherever I go." And I'm like, and you know what I said? I said, "Hell yeah, okay, cool."
Yeah, there you go. Even stick together, right?
But Isabella has a path. She's got a purpose in life, whatever. And
she's got to pave her own way too.
Yeah. But great.
I don't know. Twins though, they're different. I don't know.
Yeah. I have twin sisters. I know.
Yeah,
I know. They are a different breed.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And they stick
say
together
that's the
for
closest
sure.
bond that two people can have.
Yeah. And I mean, good for them. So, and they'll find a way to navigate that too, to find their own independence, but still have that connective tissue.
Question number 3,
which is a good segue, I think. If I was a wish granter, I was
like a genie. Okay.
Are you a genie in a bottle? Are you Will Smith or are you the...
Stop. Go down that road. So if I was a genie...
Well, it's not Shazam because that never happened.
Shazam. Wow. All right. So if I could say, hey, here's enough money to retire. Mm-hmm. What would Ashley spend the rest of her time doing? What would your day look like?
Oh, I can do anything.
Anything.
Oh, wow. I don't know.
Find out where Keanu Reeves lives and move beside him.
Listen, I was a kid. It was like he was the first love I ever saw on TV. I was like watching Speed. I was like, this is intense. I loved it.
What would you do?
Yeah, you can't go backwards.
Shoot the hostage.
I had a poster. I worked at a video store.
Okay.
So I had a poster.
Did you work at the last Blockbuster?
At Pick-a-Flick.
Pick-a-Flick Videos. There was one on Albemarle Road.
Well, no, that was...
Our lawyers in Albemarle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they stole it from the people up north. But I actually did work at Blockbuster when I moved here. But up north, I worked at Pick-a-Flick. And I had the life-sized Keanu Reeves from Speed.
Yeah. Really?
No, for real. Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
And in that movie, he was still doing the same thing. Like, one-dimensional Keanu.
So when I get done locating Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. She'll be like, honey, we found this great house, and then we'll move in, and somehow, some way, Keanu's gonna come up. He's gonna come up on like one of those paddle boards in the back.
Borrow some sugar.
That's a hard question to answer. It really is. What would I do?
You would
DIY projects.
Well, yeah,
start a business.
No. I'm just talking about what I know of her. There would be 2 different parts of it. One would be a house that would be in a mountain kind of area that would have a wraparound porch going all the way around.
I love a good Victorian style.
So are you mountains, not beach?
No. Well, let me finish, Big Mama, and then. The second part of it would be on a body of water somewhere, whether it be the lake or the ocean, but it would be in a place where you could walk off your back porch or back deck, and it would be nothing but the water and that scene. That I could see her doing whatever else she occupies her time, doing DIY.
You know the scenery.
I know what the scenery is going to look like.
I like to be outside, but I don't want to be outside and
people in.
I like people. Outside of the grocery store.
Outside of the grocery store. Harris Theater.
No. Yeah, I don't know. I would again, all these people that I follow has made me see, I love to cook. That is a passion of mine. I cook a lot.
Okay.
So I would probably maybe follow that in some way. Gardening, I think, is interesting. I've dabbled in it. I used to, especially when I was younger, my mom and my stepdad, they had a garden. I thought that was really cool.
Don't get it twisted. We cooked some freaking tomatoes and some peps, babe.
Yeah, we did. But yeah, I don't know. It would probably be a lot of self. What is what I'm trying to say here? Finding myself. I almost feel like I would have to sit back and really find the things that I want to do. Because again, I have been raising a family since I was a child, essentially. Yeah. So a lot of my self has gone into being a mother and being a wife before having myself. If that makes sense.
I think that's a beautiful answer.
Yeah. Sometimes I would probably have to go find myself for a little while.
There you go. Sometimes we don't.
Would I be around? Would I still be in the picture?
No, you'd still be here. I'd be like, come on, babe, let's go. Yeah.
You're along for the journey.
I'd be the kid at the at South Park Mall with the leash.
White people, right?
White people problems.
I have things that are interesting to me that I enjoy, but I think if given the opportunity, I would probably really have to go find.
There you go.
What triggers me? What's my thing? What is it? Because for so long it's been about everyone else.
Yeah. Well, that's a great point. We don't necessarily always have the answers.
Right.
But if we have that time, if we're actually staying focused and being introspective and finding those answers. Yeah. And I think that's a part of the humanistic journey for all of us.
Yeah, I agree.
What I mean?
Yeah. When you have what she's up against, I have the and I think it's easier for me to say it like this. I could get up, kids go to work. Kids actually go to work 10-hour, 12-hour days or whatever like that. Doesn't matter. Then get home, and the way that this life has changed, I would get home and she's quick to, hey baby, how are you, blah blah, and wanting to talk because she's been dealing with freaking kids all day, talking to kids, mommy, tug, blah blah blah, right? Yeah. And then, but what's so cool is that now still we're at that place, even though the kids are older and they're not, as needy, right? We find this place like where she's saying cooking kind of deal, and we've got a very nice kitchen with this open deal, and she just sits there, and that's her place. And when mom was like really going after it, because she's got this apron, this pretty fly apron that she wears, but she'll put that
fly
on.
apron.
Yes.
I like it.
And I put on a real good crime documentary.
Yeah.
A little glass of wine, and I'm like,
They haven't found young Billy in 17 years, but they're still diving in the local lake. What are you watching?
Life sucks for Billy, but this Pinot, but this Pinot is good.
But this Pinot is delicious.
yeah.
Right?
All right, good. Hey, that's my 3 questions. So I think right now this is the perfect time to segue into that parting shot.
Man, I'm gonna make this the easiest, the quickest parting shot that we'll have, right? And we base our parting shots around something that's different than what we're talking about. Right. Sometimes, but on this one, I want to say my parting shot is to you, baby. My parting shot is to you, Ashley Bass, for being as very strong and very easy to follow. There's a lot of times where I want so badly to be right, and I will fight my way into a corner trying to make it right, and I am wrong. Okay, and you've helped me build myself up into who I am today, into my career and who I am. Even when I do little projects and write songs and stuff, she always pops up in the songs. You are just the best piece of everything that I've ever been a part of, and I love you dearly, and I think that you exemplify what a woman should look like, and you do have every single attribute I think every woman out there that is or isn't battling what you are, to look at a strong woman dead in the face and just say, wow, that's fire. I think I could take her advice and do that. Right?
That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, can we have a cheers?
Hey, we get cheers on that.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
All right.
Thank you. I had a good time today.
You did?
Cheers.
Good.
Yeah.
You were nervous, and you were only nervous because you cared.
Was I?
Right? And this is the...
I didn't see any nerves at all.
This is the one thing that is great about
they
this
just trying to make you feel better.
Right? This is the great thing about...
We all know who was really nervous.
You know what I remember about the conversation that we had is that they were saying, oh, well, Jimmy, are you going to let her tell her story? Or are you going to stop cutting her off? And all they've been doing is cutting me off this whole blessed time.
No, you did really good, actually.
Stop. Don't cut me off. So what I'm going to tell you here, I'm going to tell you this. Thank you, JC Bridwell, for being my very good friend, a loyal friend, a brother, right? I love you dearly. Sean, thank you for taking your time to come here and be a part of this deal. You are a part of the Two Poor Podcast all the way around. You will get a microphone soon, all right? Thank you so much to our guest, Ashley Scatella Bass, for coming through and blessing us with her time.
Hashimoto.
Hey. Right? And everybody out there, thank you so much. And Two Poor Podcast.
Two Poor Podcast.
Signing out.
I
feel good.
Man, I love this shit. See you next time.
Let's go, man. Hey.